Now we need to address alternative text for images and graphics. That's because some people don't see. Blind people, low vision people. And we have to give them an alternative access to the content. And the default mechanism to do this is by using text. Because text could then be read out by a text-to-speech mechanism. You could use a braille display and what else. So let's close this window. And in MadeToTag, you have a section for this called alternate text. And it helps you find these images and double check whether they have alternate text, and if not, you can enter the alternate text. There's also an InDesign mechanism, so if I select this image for example, here, the guiding stripes on the sidewalk, I have a menu called Object Export Options. And here you can add the alternate text. And you can do it a number of ways. You can just write it down here. So I will not write the full text here. But you could also make use of XMP. And especially if you are into workflow optimization, this is highly recommended. Because the person putting together the layout in InDesign is not necessarily the best person to come up with a good text. And in this case, I have put the text inside the image using Photoshop. And there's a metadata field called description. And picking up XMP description will give me the text. So guiding stripes on sidewalks for the visually impaired is a reasonable text for this image. And I don't have to type it because it's already in the metadata. I could decide to type it anyway. Unfortunately, I think you cannot, you can select. Okay, so you could, if you don't quite like the text, like it's almost good but not really good, you could copy it, go to custom, put it back in, and then adjust the text as needed. Instead of visually impaired, maybe you say for the blind people. Visually impaired is better text, just to prove my point here.
So if you use the XMP and you change the image afterwards, then you also update here information.
No, so what you're referring to would be something like an object style, I think.
Oh, just like here you have the image where you add some information on the description.
Yeah.
And like after some review of the document, you want to use another image.
Yeah.
And you place the new image place here.
Yeah.
So you have to redo that.
Yeah.
Or just like because the image has replaced the other one, and you still capturing the XMP description.
At the moment, you have to do it again.
Okay.
But I've heard it will change real soon. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I think you know what I mean.
This is not the product announcement.
So, so at the moment, this is this article feature, the export tagging, the object export option. I have the impression was developed in a very quick manner at Adobe. It was done very quickly. And they did not have enough time to really finish the feature. So the object export option, for example, is not part of the object styles, for example. So it's not that you can tell this object to always pick up this metadata field. Now this is missing currently, but I think it's going to be fixed soon. And then you just have an export, object export option in the object style, and you say always pick up the XMP description, because in your workflow that's always where the good text is, and then you're done. Okay. Now you have to go through the document, find all your images, use this dialog, and so on. Actually, you can keep it open, so it's a floating window. So I put text here for this image. I go to the, let's say, to the logo. I put something else here. I go back to the image. I've kept the window open all the time. It's just reflecting the current value. Be careful though if you're using this. It's not 100% reliable. It has happened to me that I was entering text. I was going to the next image, and it did not remember the value. This is a shortcoming of this dialog. Let me remove this for the purpose of this exercise. If you have a magazine with, let's say, an average of 5 images per page, and the magazine has 148 pages, this is a payment behind. So one thing you could use with MadeToTag is you just jump from image to image. So I was just clicking on this arrow here, go to next frame without alternate text, and it jumps to the next image that doesn't have text yet, and I could enter it here. It was the last in the row, so I can go back, go to this one, to the logo, to the other logo, and to the AIM logo. Again, it's okay, but it's not perfect. We also have an overview feature, which is called Show Overview. And if I click on that, I get a list where I have all the images in the document and the current state of the alternate text. So there's nothing here, so I would have to put content here saying this is the AIM logo, this is the PDF association logo. Currently no, but I know it's a good feature request. So if you look at real-world documents, the quality of the content on the page is very good, but if you start looking at the alternate text, it's often very bad because there's no control in most workflows. So it's entered once, and nobody ever looks at it again. Mm-hmm. So it's a very valid feature request, but at the moment there's no spell check here. I think it wouldn't be that difficult to add the feature, but currently it's not there. Not really. So let's assume we have a publication that is catering to more than one language, either in the same printed product or because we make 2 versions. It's a typical thing in Belgium, French and Dutch, or French and Flemish. It's a typical problem in Switzerland. They have German and French and sometimes Italian or Romanic. It could happen in the US with Spanish or Chinese, which are large populations inside the US. Currently, there are some limitations in language handling in tag PDF because there's no known working mechanism to, for example, put 2 versions in the same alternate text. You could have something like you have two versions, and depending on whether you're reading Dutch or French or German, you would pick the right one.
Can you start from one InDesign document that contains multiple layers for each language in the layer? Can you start from there, or do you need to start from 2 separate InDesign pages?
No, you can use layers in InDesign and then either create language versions, that would be possible, or maybe even create combined versions. So in principle, layers and tag PDF work together, and you can create this from InDesign. But you would run into a problem that if you have this image, guiding stripes on sidewall, it would have to be German for some readers and French for other readers. And there's no official mechanism to do this for the same image in the tag PDF. That also does not exist for HTML or any other thing, so it's less than perfect. And normally you would use the same image for the French and the German version because it's the same image. Yeah, it's just the text around it that's different languages. But there's no easy way to put one string in the image for one language version and a different string for the other language version. Yeah, which of course is
wrong,
less than perfect. So, and here, if you look carefully, you see something written below the text field, and that is because this is reflecting information from the XMP metadata. So the visual display is not perfect because of the space. We don't have a lot of space, and it may only show the beginning of the metadata. So if I make the window smaller, it's just saying guiding, not very useful information. If I make it very big, I can read more. And here I see there's this guiding stripes, and there's guiding stripes on sidewalks, and then that would be a good idea. René, tooltip. So, but it may not be necessary. If I use Control and arrow up or down, I can cycle through my metadata fields. So the fields that are supported by default are the same as in the object export options. So we have title, description, and headline. We do not.
Reminder that you can see which field is showing up.
Okay.
Also, activity, because now you're switching between all the fields.
Yep.
Yeah, we generally try and do.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, you can at least cycle through the fields. And I have to say, for most images that we deal with, you're lucky if you have one. and variety is not a major feature of this. Also, we have not added support yet for custom fields, because in some workflows you may want to have a custom field.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the official description field, which is very typical in newspapers, magazines. But you say this is too much text, for example, because the alternate text should not be unnecessarily long. And you need kind of a version of the text targeted at disabled people, for example. And then you would have your custom field alternate text for my tag PDF document. And you would not be able to capture this at this moment. At the moment, we are just cycling through these 3 predefined metadata fields that InDesign also offers. And then just say, well, this is a good text. And then here, there's only one, as you see, there's just a partially cited text. So there's just one text that I can take or take not. So going through all the images in this list, I can either type the text or capture the text from the metadata field, double check everything. I could at least do interactive spell checking and double check whether the text is meaningful. What's also good is I can click on go to current image, because for some of the images it may be difficult to recognize them and know they are on this page or the other page. So if I now go here, it highlights the AIM logo, and if I go to this one here with the magnifying glass, it jumps to that page and selects the image and puts it in the center of the window.
Is there a reason why the list of the image is not the same than the one that you have in the article?
Yeah, because it could happen that there are also images that are not in the article. In this case, I have added all images to the article, but I could have background images, for example, which I would not add to the article.
Yeah, but here, these ones have been added to the article.
That's right, yeah.
But it's not the same order.
Yeah. René? Yeah.
Because the order of where the video starts here, the link and the
Okay.
Yeah, I understand the point. So
Yeah, because like here you have 2 PDF association logos, and it would be interesting to know where they are placed.
yeah, okay, that you can find out, of course, if you just go there. This one gets highlighted,
Sure.
and then this gets highlighted. Well, I see the point. So it would not be too difficult to edit this.
Here we're really sorting the things in a
Yeah, that's
very
right.
logical way, and then here it's different.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
So some people use this feature before or independent of the other features. So we may have the
Sure.
situation of the document where we don't have an article yet. But if we have an article, we can as well just use the order from the article. So it's not a major problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a major issue.
Yeah. So now I'm wondering why I didn't store the. Why is it not storing? I have to say I've just grabbed a new version that is not.
New version that is not out.
And the stuff you should never do. Now it's there. Maybe it did. Anyway, so as you can see, there's some features to deal with alternate text for images. You can find them all. You have some ways to control this. So we had a feature request from a customer that said, I only want to look at images that are part of the article. Before, we were showing all the images, also images that are not part of any article. He was saying, well, they are not part of the article, I don't care. So now we have to say also show images outside of articles to even see images that are part of the article. So if I if I close this, let me just make a screenshot. So something you should not do in production, but I'm doing it anyway. So I have just some other image here. And it's a leftover, it's a background or something. And if I do show overview, it's showing up. It should not show up. No, the backgrounds are not images. Yeah. Oh, it was added to the article. That's, I think. No, it's not. I have to look this again. So the intention is, if I may say so, that if you click this, all images are shown. If you disable the checkbox, only images belonging to the article are shown. Okay, so this is our third step. Looking at our list of things we have to deal with. So it's alternative text for images and graphics. One word about graphics. So sometimes you have diagrams or complex arrangements of graphical objects, then the whole thing is something that needs an alternative description. In InDesign, so far you have the problem, at least for CS5.5 and for some versions of CS6, that if you have just a graphic object, not an image, just a frame or a line or whatever, and you could draw a line that is actually, you draw a simple line here, you can make a graphic that is meaningful, like it's a graphic carrying meaning. And if you I should give it a line so that we can actually see it. And color that is not white. So it's a very interesting shape. It's copyrighted axaio software, so you're not allowed to use this shape. And let's say this is a very important piece of art from a very famous artist from Berlin. And you can actually do something like, say this is famous painting from Berlin, yes? And the problem is, this will not show up in the tag PDF. So the object itself will not be part of the tagging structure, even if I put it inside the article. And also the alternative text for this shape will not show up. It's a bug in InDesign so far. And so far, MadeToTag is also not fixing it. We are fixing some of the other bugs, but we are not fixing it. I think there will soon be a version of InDesign that does a better job. No, once you import from outside Illustrator, you could, if you do the same thing in Illustrator and import the Illustrator file, you don't have a problem. And that would also be my advice, to create an EPS, a PDF, an image, an Illustrator file, whatever, and import it. Also, if you export as an InDesign snippet, for example, it does not help. So it has to be not InDesign. Yeah. So again, you could do something like use the preview, because the preview is also showing the alternate text. So this is showing up with an alt tag here, and it's saying guiding stripes on sidewalks for visually impaired. And this is also a useful QA step, just to make sure text makes sense, is good in the context of the remaining content and so on. You can also use it for proofreading and spell checking.